America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Decency and tolerance, man. I think that's the road. Basic human decency, basic human tolerance. You want to know how to defeat MAGA? You want to know how to defeat Trump? That road. Decency and tolerance. Just basic human decency. Most Americans are decent. Most Americans are tolerant. My God, Democrats, run on that. Make that your platform. Maybe I'll start a new political party called the Decency and Tolerance Party. Decency and tolerance. Basic human decency. Nobody listening to me right now can convince me that most Americans are not decent. Nobody listening to me right now can convince me that most Americans are not tolerant. On every issue, on any issue. And maybe, now that I think about it, this is the path to defeating MAGA, to defeating Trump. Maybe this is it, just carrying the flag, the banner of basic human decency when it comes to any issue. When it comes to the issue of our transgender brothers and sisters. Now, I know where MAGA stands on this. I know where Trump, in fact, America knows where Trump and MAGA, the MAGA right, and today's Republican Party stands on the issue of transgender Americans. It's really simple, America. Here's the deal. I know they spent a lot of money going after, attacking Kamala Harris and the Democrats and the left on this issue of transgender Americans in the campaign. But guys, here's where the MAGA right is on transgenderism. The MAGA right, it's a mental illness. It doesn't exist. Two sexes, two genders, you are what you're born with. Get lost, anybody else. That's the MAGA stance. Do you understand me? I come from the right. Democrats, take it from me. I'm a former right-wing culture war practitioner. The right lives on these culture wars. The right loves to push this issue of transgenderism. They think it works for them. And really, the only reason it works for them is because the Democrats lay down. I mean, again, the MAGA position on transgenderism is it's a mental illness, or there's no such thing. It doesn't exist. So if you think you're transgender, we're not going to let you think you're transgender. We're not going to let you identify as transgender. This is the MAGA position. Don't you dare tell me that that's where most Americans are. Bullshit. Most Americans are decent. Most Americans are loving and tolerant when it comes to our transgender brothers and sisters. But damn, the Democrats, just like damn near every culture war issue, the Democrats just don't engage. Trump spends $242 million against Kamala Harris, just throwing transgender bullshit at her, and Kamala Harris doesn't respond at all. That's the Democratic Party in a nutshell. on display yesterday. The MAGA position, Trump's position, the Republican Party position on transgenderism was on display yesterday for everybody to see in a simple congressional subcommittee hearing. You talk about boring. I used to sit in many of those. A basic subcommittee hearing chaired by a Republican, Keith Self, a Republican from Texas, chairing this subcommittee hearing. And about halfway through the hearing, he introduces the Congresswoman from Delaware, Sarah McBride, who happens to be the first openly transgender member of Congress. Amen. Isn't that wonderful? He introduces her. And the damn subcommittee hearing goes off the rails.
As the
Keith,
representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry.
could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
And there it goes. And there it goes. And there it goes. Hearing over. By the way, thank you to Sarah McBride, introduced as Mr. McBride. Sarah McBride doesn't hesitate to say thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to Democratic Congressman William Keating for defending his colleague, Sarah McBride. But just stop right there. The Republican chair of the subcommittee introduces Sarah McBride, a transgender woman, the first transgender member of Congress. That Republican jackass introduces her as Mr. McBride. Does it twice. Here's the deal, Democrats. I wish I could poll the American people right now. Mr. McBride, what an ugly, mean, cruel, intolerant, indecent thing to do. Plain and simple. Most Americans, no way do most Americans agree with what this Congressman Keith Self did from Texas. No way. You can talk, we can talk, bathrooms and locker rooms and women's athletics till we're blue in the face, right? I get all of that. And those are legit issues. But here is a transgender woman who's a duly elected congresswoman from the state of Delaware, and this jackass from Texas introduces her as Mr. No way. No freaking way do most Americans approve of that. I know MAGA does. I know Republicans do. I know Trump does. Most Americans don't. No fucking way. Most Americans don't. You know why? Because most Americans are decent. Most Americans are tolerant. Most Americans, when it comes to transgender men and women, you want to know where 80% of Americans stand? Democrats, listen to me, because Democrats, I want you to fight on this issue. I don't want you to hide. I don't want you to run away from the damn transgender issue. I want you to fight on it. Most Americans, I bet 80 to 85% of Americans, here's where they stand on transgender Americans. You know where they stand? Here's where they stand. My God, identify as you want. Be who you want. Be true to yourself. Identify as a woman. Identify as a man. We love and embrace you. We want you to live the life that's true and honest for you. Most Americans, when it comes to transgender Americans, are live and let live, love and embrace all. And by the way, that's not where MAGA is. Remember where MAGA is? It doesn't exist. It's a mental illness. No way. There's no such thing as transgenderism. Bullshit. Democrats, that ugly, intolerant position of MAGA, that's not where most Americans are. The vast majority of Americans are loving and embracing when it comes to people living their lives as they want to live their lives, true to themselves, identifying as they want to identify. We get caught up in the issues of athletics and locker rooms and bathrooms. And when it comes to the issues of women's athletics and locker rooms and bathrooms, I get it. Most Americans, you know what? It's not right. It's not fair that transgender women get to compete with cisgender women. I'm there. Most Americans are there. Get it. On that issue, yes. And when it comes to bathrooms and locker rooms, hold on a minute, everybody. We got to respect the privacy of everybody. We've got to respect the privacy of transgender women, and we've got to respect the privacy of biological women when it comes to bathrooms and locker rooms. I get all of that. I'm with you on all of that. I'm just talking about basic human decency and tolerance. What a jackass this Texas Republican is. And what a coward, right? He couldn't defend calling her mister. Couldn't defend it. So he just banged that fucking gavel, ended the hearing, and ran away. Because Republicans know, Democrats, when it comes to this, they're in the minority. The vast majority of Americans look at a transgender woman as a duly elected member of Congress, and the vast majority of Americans are going to identify her, address her as a woman. You know why? MAGA, you know why? Because most Americans, the vast majority of Americans, are decent and tolerant. She's a woman. She's a transgender woman. She got elected as a transgender woman. She identifies as a transgender woman. She's living her life true to herself. Well, doggone it, no matter where I stand on transgenderism, I'm going to respect her choice. So I'll address her as a woman. That's where most Americans are. Democrats, fight on this issue. Again, Democrats, take it from me, a former right-wing culture war jackass. Back in my right-wing talk radio days, man, this issue of transgenderism, just like issues of race and everything, we all would throw at the Democrats because we knew the Democrats were afraid to fight. Democrats don't like to fight culture war issues. And oh, by the way, now we got a lot of smart Democrats who are saying, oh my God, let's not even talk about them. Rahm Emanuel and all these other Democrats, smart guys who here's what the party needs to do, want the party to just ignore an issue like this. Bullshit. Why ignore it? Most Americans are with you. Again, most Americans, Democrats, on the issue of transgender men and women, Democrats, most Americans stand with you. Why would you run away from fighting on this issue? Most Americans, by far, are decent and tolerant. You want to identify as a woman, You want to go through the transition to become a woman? Amen. It's your life. Live true to yourself. We accept and embrace that. When it comes to women, transgender women in sports, no. We got to be fair about that. When it comes to bathrooms and locker rooms, we got to respect everybody's privacy. But doggone it, love and embrace you. We support what you identify as. That's where the vast majority of Americans stand. So why the hell are the Democrats afraid to fight on this issue? Why cede this turf to the ugly, intolerant Republicans on the transgender issue when they're in the minority? They're in the minority. Most Americans don't think it's a mental illness. MAGA does. Most Americans don't think it doesn't exist. If you are transgender, you should not be able to identify as transgender. MAGA believes that. Most Americans don't believe that. Like MAGA believes if you identify as a transgender woman, you shouldn't be able to. You shouldn't be able to identify as that. Most Americans don't support that. MAGA does. This jackass, Texas Congressman Keith Self, he's where MAGA is. I'll bet you his constituents down in Texas don't even agree with him. Live and let live. Gay, straight, transgender, be who you are. Democrats, the lesson from the 2024 campaign is not to run away and hide when Republicans engage in the culture wars. Race, gender, God, all the rest. That's my turf, baby. That's what I engaged in. The right MAGA engages in these culture war issues because the right MAGA knows, Democrats, that you have a history of running and hiding under your bed. I guess what I'm saying I'm not a Democrat. I come from the culture war right. Democrats don't hide under the bed. This is the issue of transgenderism. Politically, Democrats, it's a winner for you. Politically, it's a winner. Now, again, it's the right and decent thing to do. The right and decent position is to accept, lovingly accept, however adults identify. Especially a duly elected member of Congress. The loving, decent thing to do is to Miss McBride, Congresswoman McBride. MAGA won't do that. MAGA won't do that. The vast majority of Americans will. But politically, just speaking politically, Democrats, you will win on this issue. The winning stance, again, Democrats, on the issue of transgenderism, or back up again, last time, the losing position on the issue of transgenderism is, fuck it, you can't identify as you want. You don't exist. There's no such thing as transgenderism. You got a mental illness. That is the MAGA position. That is the minority position. So Democrats, you're playing with the better hand. Your position, Democrats, is we love and embrace and accept everybody identifying as they want to identify, live and be your true self. Let's figure it out when it comes to athletics. We got to be fair, right? When it comes to athletics, bathrooms, locker rooms, we got to respect everybody's privacy rights. Boom, right there. Wrap it up. That's your position, Democrats, and that's the winning position politically. Fight on these issues. Fight on this issue. The lesson from 2024 is not to run and hide on this issue. Ignore these Democratic consultants telling you to only talk about the price of eggs. No, talk about basic human decency on this issue and every culture war issue. Make your bet, Democrats. My God, Democrats, fight. Make your bet on the American people. That the American people are decent and tolerant. What a fucking dickwad that guy is. Keith Self. Mr. McBride. By the way, you wanted to do today, everybody? Contact Keith Self's office in Washington, D.C. Call him. Email his office. Tell him not to be an indecent dick. Tell him, now you shouldn't say that. Tell him not to be an indecent jerk. Leave a message. Congressman Self, don't be an indecent jerk. Address Congresswoman McBride as Miss McBride or Congresswoman. Do not be an indecent jerk. That's your to-do for today, everybody. Contact Keith Self's office. Texas Congressman, Republican. Just chaps me. Again, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. I'm hopping to a different topic. I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. And now I'm talking to primarily MAGA, Donald Trump, and Republicans will continue to lie to you, look you in the eyes and fucking lie to you day and night as long as you let them. Here's Trump's party yesterday lying to you about your 401ks. Keith, do we have that? It's the House Judiciary, Republican House Judiciary Committee sent out a tweet. Don't check your 401k today, but if you do, blame Joe Biden. Keep that up for a minute, Keith. Hey, don't look at your 401k today, says the House Republicans. But if you do look at it, blame Joe Biden. It's going down. Your 401k's been tanking. Your retirement accounts have been tanking for the last few weeks. Don't look at them, House Republicans say. But if you do, blame Biden. Blame Biden that you're losing money every day. Blame Biden that your retirement account is getting whacked every day for the past 2 to 3 weeks. So say House Republicans. They're lying to you. And they'll keep doing shit like this as long as you let them lie. Let's just be clear. Your 401k, your retirement account, on the day Donald Trump was sworn in, January 20th, your 401k was kicking ass. It was up consistently. Your 401k had been up consistently for the past 2.5, almost 3 years. Your retirement account on the day that Donald Trump was sworn in was like this for the past 2.5 to 3 years. Had been kicking butt. And for the past 7 weeks, most especially for the past 3 weeks, and I mean cratering for the past week and a half, your 401k, your retirement account is in a lot of trouble. And so it's not because of Biden. It's because of Trump. You're losing money because of Donald Trump. And I don't need to get into the whole tariff thing again. I don't need, by the way, did you see Trump came out this morning and announced 200% tariffs on the EU, on wine and everything else? At the rate he's going, Trump's going to come out tomorrow, Friday, and announce a 1,000% tariff on every product known to man that's coming in from any country, every country. Just look at the facts and the truth. Your 401k has only dropped since Trump became president. Your 401k has been dropping because of Donald Trump. It had a great track record, your retirement account did under Joe Biden. But that's the fact. Those are the facts. That's the truth. I'm making a different point right now. Don't let them lie to you. Have more self-respect, Republicans. My God, respect yourself more. You going to let them do this to you? They do it because you let them. They do it because they get away with it. Trump lies to you because you let him. My God, you've got no more you got no self-respect. MAGA. No self-respect, Republicans. How can you let people lie to you like this? Your job as an American citizen is to stay informed, is to try to adhere to the truth, try to be tethered to the truth. Trump thinks you're an easy mark. The House Judiciary GOP, they think you are a dumbass. I don't know how else to say it. And this isn't me thinking or calling you a dumbass Trump supporter. In fact, I want to say for the record, I don't think you're a dumbass Trump supporters. This isn't me. The people who sent that tweet out yesterday blame Joe Biden because your retirement account has been dropping off a cliff the last week or two. Blame Joe Biden. The people who sent that tweet out yesterday, they think you're a dumbass. Every time Donald Trump lies to you, he thinks you're a dumbass. I'm not a Trump supporter. But man, that bugged me. That bothered me. That would bother me something fierce if somebody thought I was such a dumbass that I'd believe their lies and their bullshit. Like, again, I wouldn't want to work for somebody who thought I was such a dumbass and lied to me all the time. I wouldn't want to work with somebody who thought I was a dumbass and lied to me all the time. I wouldn't want to be really good friends with somebody who thought I was such a dumbass because they lied to me all the time. I wouldn't want to be married to somebody who thought I was such a dumbass because they lied to me all the time. And you know I'm right. You know I'm right. Trump thinks you're an easy mark. And all I've been asking you, Trump supporters, from the moment I left Trump 6 years ago, think better of yourself. Think better of yourselves. Support Trump if you want. But man, have some pride. Have some self-pride, Trump supporters. Don't let him get away with lying to you all the time. Hold him accountable for his lies. Everybody, here's a to-do for you all, Trump supporters. Contact the House Judiciary, the House GOP Judiciary Committee. Contact the House GOP Judiciary Committee. Send them a copy of that tweet and say, don't lie to me like this. I'm not a dumbass. I've got pride in who I am. Don't lie to me like this. I support Donald Trump, but my retirement account was doing just great under Biden. I'm no fan of Biden, but my retirement account was doing great. My retirement account has taken a big whack, a big wallop the last couple of weeks under Trump. That's not because of Biden, under Trump. Don't lie to me, House Republicans. Don't you dare lie to me. Every Trump supporter should do that today. He'll keep lying to you because he thinks you're an easy mark. And Trump supporter, love you, but that's what you've told him all these years. You've told Trump and you've told Republicans that you are easy marks. Because every time he lies to you, you say, I thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Every time Trump lies to you, you get down on your knees and you say, thank you, Donald. Give me another. So it's not a surprise. He continues that. As free citizens in this democracy, it's up to us to tether ourselves to the truth. It's up to us to hold politicians accountable who lie to us. Trump supporters, you got to do that right now. Hey, thank you for listening. I want to make one other note. I will, in all likelihood, for 4 weeks, keep this 4 weeks. What am I saying? For 4 years, keep this No Kings profile pic on all my social media. I know it's hard to follow everything Trump is doing every single day. But if you do, man, there's some frightening shit. Some frightening authoritarian shit that he's doing. Trying to shut down law firms, private companies, trying to shut them down because he believes they went after him 4 years ago. That's the act of a king, of a tyrant. And a judge called him on it yesterday. But every single day, because I follow this stuff closely, because I have to, man, 4 to 5 to 6 instances of Donald Trump acting like a king, acting like a tyrant. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I have advocated the closing down of the federal Department of Education for as long as I can remember. For as long as I can remember. I don't think, and I've never thought we needed it. I'm not going to get into that issue right now. Here's the truth, though. Here's the law, and here's the Constitution. Only Congress, only an act of Congress, according to the law and according to the Constitution, can eliminate the federal Department of Education. The President of the United States does not have the constitutional authority to do so. So what's Trump trying to do? He's trying to fire damn near everybody who works at the Department of Education. Firing half of the staff at the Department of Education is unconstitutional as well, which is why just this morning, 21 attorneys general took him to court for even doing that. Understand what I'm saying? I don't think I want to eliminate the federal Department of Education, but you have to do it the legal way. You have to do it the constitutional way. And the way Trump and Musk are doing it is unconstitutional and illegal. And they began that move to just gut the agency a day and a half ago. The courts will call them on it. But in the meantime, enormous damage, just like with USAID, enormous damage is being done. He's not a king. If you agree with Trump that we shouldn't have a federal Department of Education, great. But you have to agree that you cannot defy the Constitution and the law to do it. You have to do it the right way, the legal way, the constitutional way. He's not a king. You hear me talk about this all the time. I no kings, no kings, no kings in America. I swear to God, I go to bed every night repeating that mantra to myself. Go to my website, oneflaginitiative.org. oneflaginitiative.org. That's all one word. Go there. Join our No Kings movement. We're really growing. More and more people all over the country are changing their profile pics. You don't have to change your profile pic if you don't want, but go to oneflaginitiative.org. We'll show you how to join the No Kings movement. My God, every American should publicly embrace that basic American truth. We do not have kings in America. Two more things. Again, if you love me here, if you love me on Twitter, you will love me on Substack. If you're on Substack, check out my Substack, Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Social Contract with Joe Walsh. So, some great stuff coming out today on Substack regarding free speech, regarding a lot of the stuff that Trump is doing and Republicans are doing. Check it out. Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Last thing, email me about anything, all one word, the Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. There it is, Keith, the Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Have a good Thursday. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with